welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make lumpia, which is a delicious Indonesian snack loved by many. It's kind of like the Chinese egg roll, but not at all like the Philippine lumpia. Theirs is real small and has only beef in it, but the Indonesian lumpia has other things as well, like vegetables. For the filling, we will need 2 pounds of ground beef or ground turkey or any other protein that you like. We will also need a pound of tofu. I have cut my tofu into little pieces already because what I'm going to do is mix it up with the ground beef. Now, I like to season as I go along. So for this section, I have 2 1/4 teaspoon kosher salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon ground black pepper, and 3/4 of a teaspoon granulated garlic. We also need 2 tablespoons of oil to brown the ground beef and tofu in. Now, after that's done, I will add 2 pounds of steamed, cut up cabbage and 2 pounds of bean sprouts, and also a can of bamboo shoots. Now, the reason that I have pre-steamed my cabbage and my bean sprout is that they each have a separate heating time that they need to be done. So this way I know they're going to be going in when they're done perfectly. Then I will season it with 3/4 of a teaspoon of sea salt, 1 3/4 teaspoon of seasoned salt, Lawry's I use, 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of granulated garlic. Now that's the filling. For the wrappers, I am using these spring roll wrappers. I have found them to be a little crunchier than the regular egg roll wrappers, so I've started using these. You can use egg roll wrappers also, of course. Now, to seal the wrappers, you will need a couple of eggs and a pastry brush to seal the edges of the wrappers. For the equipment, you will need a wok. Now, if you don't have a wok, you can use another pan also. A wok is just, you know, an Asian thing, so if you're lucky enough to have it, use it. And you need something to fry the egg rolls in. You can use, of course, a regular frying pan, or I'm going to use this pan for today. You will also need some thongs to take the lumpias out of, to take the lumpias and turn them, and then take them out of the oil. You will need a fork to press the tofu into the ground beef, and something to stir it all up with. Okay, for this I am going to keep my burner on somewhere between medium and high, because I do want my ground beef to brown. So I'll put in my 2 tablespoons of oil, and when it's heated a little bit more, I'll go ahead and I'll add my ground beef to it. Then my tofu. You know, my mom started making lumpia way back when we first came to Holland, and she used to make this lumpia so she could make a little extra money. But when she started making this lumpia, she would cut the tofu into little tiny pieces and would fry it before she would add it to the filling. And same with the beef, she would cut that into little tiny pieces. Oh my gosh. So then finally, I mean, that's when we were in Holland. She would make it like that all the time. Then when we arrived in the States, she started getting a little, not smarter, but wiser, and said, why don't I just mix the tofu in with the ground beef? And I thought, oh, good idea, Mom. So this is what I'm doing now. When the beef is done and most of the liquid has evaporated, it is time to add the veggies. So I will add the bean sprouts. Oh, not with the water. Yeah, try not to use the water. And the cabbage. And by the way, in cutting the cabbage, the outer leaves have huge veins. Be sure you cut those away because they will tear your lumpia wrapper as it's frying. So it's just best to cut off all the veins that you can. And the bamboo shoots go in. Now you stir it all together. At this point, you can really turn off your stove and make things a little cooler on yourself. When it's all stirred up, what you need to do is you need to get all that liquid out and you need to have it cool down. The liquid is bad to be inside an egg roll because it'll soften the wrapper and the wrapper will break when you fry it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this to a colander. I mean, this is great for my purposes. And I'll let it sit and cool down before I roll it. Well, my filling has all drained now and it's cooled off and we are ready to roll the lumpias. Because it is such a daunting task, I have recruited my two daughters, Andrea and Julie. Well, Julie's really my daughter-in-law. And they said they would love to help me, so they are here. I told you before in the video how much I love these spring rolls because they make the lumpia so crispy and wonderful. Well, I had forgotten how the wrappers all stick to each other. They're kind of hard to unpeel and not tear, but it is possible because we've just all done it. So now we are ready to roll the lumpias. What we do first is take one of those wrappers, put it on a board in this way, diagonally towards you. We will wet the sides with an egg wash and put some on two sides of the wrapper so we can seal the wrapper. When that's done, we take a spoonful of the filling and put it down this way, kind of in the form of a rectangle. Like so. We fold this up this way, and then we start rolling. First the top and then the sides. And as we roll, we pat it down like that and roll the lumpia like so. The egg is sealing the wrapper. They say that it is really good to put like a wet cloth on these piles of wrappers, but since I have two helpers, they will not dry out. We are done. Voila! Yay! Yay! Thank you, girls. Now all we need to do is to fry them up. So what you want to do is, in your pan, you want to put about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of oil in the pan. And because you never want the lumpias to float. You never want the oil to be more than the lumpias. You want them to just be able to sit there, and then you have to turn when they're brown enough on this side, which is about 2 to 3 minutes. So to test the oil, you just stick in a lumpia like that and see how it bubbles and it makes little crackling noises. Now it's ready for the lumpia to be fried. It should really take about 2 to 3 minutes for each lumpia to get done, and for each wrapper to get all the way done. The lumpias have all been fried. We were able to get 52 out of the batch that we made today. And I really like eating them with a peanut sauce that I make myself. I will show you on my next video exactly how to do that. Since I don't have the peanut sauce, the next best thing I love is this Lingham's hot sauce that you can get at your Asian store. Now, if you can't get that, or they don't carry it, the chili sauce, the sweet chili sauce, will be just as tasty. I hope I've inspired you to make your own and enjoy this lumpia. See you next time.